Okay, let's talk about that voice in your head. You know the one. The one that's constantly running, second-guessing every single decision you make, and replaying every tiny mistake on a loop. It's exhausting, right? Well, today, we're going to talk about how to finally win that argument and take back control of your own mind.
And this right here is the absolute core of what you need to get. For years, you've probably thought that voice was just you being careful, being wise. But it's not. The truth is, that voice of doubt, that's the enemy. And it's been running your life for way too long.
I mean, seriously, what if? That's the big promise we're digging into. We're not just talking about managing the voice, but actually changing your entire relationship with it. We're about to break down the exact techniques successful people use to silence that inner critic and finally move forward with some real confidence.
So, first things first, the most crucial point to start with is this. Your brain is a liar. Now, it's not malicious. Its whole job is to protect you. But to do that, it creates these imaginary dangers and does a really, really good job of convincing you they're real. Understanding this is step one to taking away its power.
Does any of this sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. This is the enemy's playbook. It keeps you playing small by hitting the replay button on your most embarrassing moments. It directs these terrifying, Oscar-worthy horror movies about your future. And its prime directives are always the same. Nope, don't take that risk. And whatever you do, just keep your mouth shut.
And this is why it works. Every single time you overthink, you're literally training your brain to prepare for a disaster that doesn't even exist. But here's the crazy part. Your body has no idea it's fake. Your brain starts pumping out stress hormones, it triggers a panic response, it reacts the exact same way whether there's a real tiger in the room or you're just imagining an awkward conversation.
Okay, so we've established that our brain is basically a sci-fi author, just writing fake problems all day. So how do we stop it? Well, in this next section, we're going to dive into 3 super powerful techniques to reframe your thoughts and cut off that negative loop before it even gets going.
This one question is the #1 fuel source for overthinking. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I mess up? Look, these aren't productive questions, they're just open invitations for your brain to start production on one of those scary movies we just talked about. They are, quite literally, exercises in inventing problems out of thin air.
Now, check out this simple but honestly profound shift in power. You just replace that anxious, paralyzing what if with a defiant so what. So, what if I fail becomes so what? I'll learn something and I'll try again. You're not pretending failure isn't possible. You're just stripping it of its power to keep you stuck.
Now, this one might sound a little weird at first. The goal isn't to never worry. In fact, trying to suppress a thought usually just makes it scream louder. Instead, you contain it. You basically give your brain a scheduled appointment to worry. That way, it doesn't have to hijack your thoughts all day long.
And the time limit here is absolutely key. This is not some open-ended complaint session. No. It is a focused 10-minute window. That's it. This makes the whole task feel manageable, and more importantly, it puts you back in control of the schedule, not your anxiety. And here's how simple it is. You set a timer. For those 10 minutes, you just go for it. Let it all out. Worry your heart out. But the second that timer dings, you're done. You stop. If another worry pops in your head later in the day, you just tell your brain, hey, not now, put it on the list, we'll deal with it tomorrow at 3 p.m. And you know what? It works, because your brain trusts that it will get its dedicated time to be heard. Oh man, we have all done this. We spend hours in the shower crafting the perfect comeback for an argument that is never going to happen. Let's be clear, this is not preparation. It's practicing anxiety. It keeps your body and your mind in a state of conflict and stress over something that isn't even real. The fix is so simple. Just ask yourself, is this happening right now? If the answer is no, you drop it.
All right, so we've talked about reframing our thoughts. Now let's talk about breaking that cycle of paralysis with action. See, overthinking absolutely thrives on inaction. And you know what its kryptonite is? Decisiveness.
Think about it. Your brain gets totally exhausted treating every little choice like it's a life or death situation. Deciding what to eat for lunch should not require the same amount of mental energy as deciding on a career change. This is called decision fatigue, and it just leads to more doubt and even more overthinking.
So here's the new rule. For any small, totally reversible decision, you give yourself 30 seconds. That's it. What to wear? 30 seconds. Which movie to watch? 30 seconds. Doing this actually builds your decision muscle, and it teaches your brain that, hey, most choices are not permanent and they really don't need to be agonized over.
When you ask 10 different people for their opinion on something, let's be honest, you're not gathering data, you're outsourcing responsibility. And all you end up with is 10 different opinions, which just leads to way more confusion and paralysis. From now on, make the decision yourself first, then, if you must, ask one single trusted person for their thoughts.
So our final section is really about the mindset that ties all of this together. Because these aren't just clever tricks, they're part of a much larger philosophy. A philosophy of embracing progress over perfection and focusing your precious energy where it actually matters.
This quote is everything. At the root of almost all overthinking is a deep fear of making a mistake. It's this impossible attempt to achieve a perfect outcome. But here's what successful people know. Mistakes aren't just inevitable, they are absolutely essential for learning and for actually getting better.
Just take a second and think about how much mental energy we all waste worrying about things that are completely outside of our influence. The economy, what other people might think of us, what could happen next year. It is a massive drain. The key is to consciously redirect all that energy only toward the things you have direct control over. And this table just makes it crystal clear. You can control your actions, your reactions, your effort, and your attitude. That's it. You can't control what other people think. You can't control the grand sweep of world events. So every time a worry pops up, mentally place it in one of these two columns. If it lands in that right-hand column, you have to consciously and actively let it go.
Overthinkers wait. We wait until we feel 100% confident, until we have every piece of information, until the plan is absolutely perfect. But you know what? That day never, ever comes. Confidence doesn't come from thinking. Confidence is a result of doing. You will learn infinitely more in 10 minutes of messy, imperfect action than you ever will in 10 hours of perfect planning.
And this is what it all boils down to. Your brain is your employee, not your boss. Its job is to flag potential risks, sure, but you are the CEO. You're the one who looks at the data and decides, okay, thank you for the input, but that's an imaginary danger, and we're moving forward. From this moment on, that voice of doubt, it doesn't get a vote in your decisions anymore.
And it all starts with one. Just one. One decision, one action, one single moment where you consciously choose a different response. You don't have to master all 8 of these techniques today. You just have to pick one to start with.
So I'll leave you with this question. Right now, think of one what if that's been holding you back. Just one. And right now, make the decision to challenge it with so what. That single act is the first step to taking back control and finally becoming the boss of your own mind.